Creating a live broadcast. And boom. And then we're going to press record there. Okay. So, good evening. Welcome to Forge 2.0, take 2. Okay. We had some technical difficulties on either end. Jayna's computer, who is joining me on this episode, not being interviewed. We will discuss a little bit about what she does, but she is part of this episode, not I'm going to interrogate her. But she had some difficulties. I had some difficulties over on my end. I don't know. My computer's got an issue. I tell you, the Terminators are coming. We're all done. Okay, so Forge 2.0, season 3, episode 9, I believe. I said the first time. I might have got that wrong. The episodes are starting. I know I was told you need at least 100 before, like, the powers that be actually look at your podcast and say something. It's like, wow, well, I got 3 seasons. That might should count for something. So that being said, okay, so before I get in and I introduce my lovely guest, last week's pick-me-up quote was, define yourself or lose yourself to other people's fantasies of you. Okay, now to me, I'll break it down, Lucky style. If people can't see exactly who you are, and it seems to be that everyone's always more fascinated with people, what they are, what they do instead of their own lives, they'll make up their own thing. Oh, this guy does this, or this girl does that, or she's one of those, or he does this, and he's all blah, 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 blah. And that's not good. It goes kind of, in my opinion, right along with you are the artist of your life. And if you don't paint or you don't draw, someone else will. So choose. So now, because I value her input and I want to get her going and get her energy back out there again, this is Jayna Swan. She is a love and intimacy and mindset coach. And she actually found me on Instagram. I think I might have commented on something she put out. I don't know. But she found me and we talked. It meshed well. So, Jayna, you heard the quote from last week. How does it run through your mind, and what do you think it means?
I would totally agree with the quote, and your take on it is super accurate. If we aren't creating our own world through, like, our words create our world. And so if we don't express who we are clear enough, then nobody around us is really going to know. And so they're just going to fill in the blanks. And so if I just walk into a room and say, I am a love and intimacy coach, every single person that I meet that evening is going to make their own visual representation in their mind of what that means to them. Mm-hmm. And like you said, they'll put you in a bucket. Oh, she's like this person, or she's like that. And it's like, it could go 2 ways. It could be, I'm the therapist, or I'm a sex worker. And so, if I don't fill in the blanks, if I don't tell them who I am, I'm, I work with the unconscious mind. I use a lot of science and things in my work. If I don't fill in those blanks, then people start to assume. And they will paint the picture for me, just like you said. So I got to take that. You have to pick up that paintbrush for yourself, and you have to be the one to create your world, create the persona that you live in, and that persona you project. And if you have to be super, super clear about it too, or else, again, there will be that gray area. And some people leave the gray area because they think it's a good thing, gives them place to go and grow. But all that does is it leaves room for rumors and gossip and other negative stuff to creep in there. So
I like it. And I know we discussed it in take 1, which is that's awesome. But in take 2, if you can look over and you see Jayna's pillows, she does that. That's hers. She made that, which is a great pillow. I'm going to have to talk to her about possibly getting one of those and see if she can put it on a shirt. because I would wear the hell out of that. I bought one of those what is it, I Heart Hot Moms shirts that I was like, yes, this is great. This is great.
I truly believe it. Orgasms matter. His, hers, theirs, they, whatever, every single person, their orgasms matter.
They do. They do. That's a funny thing how it became. They all do matter, but I would like to go back and find out when it became where the women, they can wait till later to get theirs. I just have to get mine now. I've been seeing that pop up across all the media platforms, Jayna. Just huge. I don't know why. And it seems to be now that there's the TikToks, as I call them, you can find a lot of, I guess, jokes that they're throwing on, and people are turning it into something that's hilarious from a guy's point of view, yet you see all the women talking about, yeah, no, I faked it. It's like, wow. That's rough.
Yeah, that's scary. And it mostly stems from a lot of people just not knowing anything about the anatomy, arousal, or orgasm in itself. And if you don't know your own body, then how are you going to help somebody else find pleasure? So it all starts with knowing not only your own anatomy, but the anatomy of the partner that you're choosing to be with, and mindset. Because what you think in your mind, even if your body responds properly, what you think in your mind can make or break you. It will either take you there or take you away from it.
Yeah. And listen, because your significant other will tell you exactly what to do. But okay, we will touch on more of that, because I feel this is, I mean, we go in depth with some of the things on this episode where, you know, as obviously the title is Taking Your Power Back. But I think we'll have plenty of time that Jayna can explain, you know, exactly what she does. Like I said, didn't bring her on here to interview her. We're going to talk a little bit about her, but I wanted her to be part of the episode. As you've heard before in some of my, a lot of my episodes, not some of them, a lot of my episodes, it's hard to find people that can match my energy. And it's usually I'm at one side off the spectrum, and then everybody else is just over here. Hello. And then here's me. You know. That being said, so taking back your power, I went on Product Fairy, I think the website was. I could be wrong. I don't know. I just typed in Taking Your Power Back because I've had a couple of realizations this week. One I did, just a slight branch off. I did when you move with purpose. And I was listening to something, and this happened Sunday, and I was listening, and I heard it, and I started thinking, and I noticed when I move, even if it's just taking a step, and if somebody walks in front of me, it's like I almost ran through them. And I've noticed I've been doing this all my life, and I'm sitting here going, why? And something clicked last Saturday, and I'm going, why? When I just turned around, I took one step, and this girl walked in front of me, and I almost went through her. And I started thinking, and this thing clicked, and I go, that's why. When I move with purpose. Everything that is me, I make a decision to go that way, and all of me goes. I don't half-ass it. There's no haphazard. There's no, putting my feet, my toes in, dilly-dallying. I make a decision, boom. I move with purpose. And I put that out there. When you move, I'm trying to get people to change their thinking. And here at Forge 2.0, we want you just to change. It's never about beating someone else. It's being the best you. It's helping you to either not be scared, to, with Jayna's profession, go find the woman that you want, or reignite that flame between you and your significant other. Sometimes we get just so complacent and content in what we're doing, and we don't want to change anything, or we get scared. If I do this, is he or she going to follow with me? Are they going to support me? If I change this is completely different than what we're used to, and like I said, it was great. And I went in, and when Jayna was like, "Hey, you want to do a collab?" and I go, "What's a collab?" And she did just what she's doing, right? More than welcome, Jayna, chime in, please. It's a collaboration. I go, oh, yeah, no, I know I'm 3 seasons in, and I don't know all the lingo to podcasting. Every day I'm saying, somebody's saying, oh, well, you should do this. Oh, well, I didn't even know we couldn't do that. My biggest thing that I've been able to find, and Jayna, I believe you put out a reel or something, whatever it's called, on Instagram about that you're still doing your page by yourself?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. So that's what I guess that's what I'm doing. My page, because I'm not paying somebody else to do it, so it's all me.
Yeah.
And the big thing that I've run across, I don't know if you run across it or if you handle this, but is editing. Everywhere I go is edit this, edit that. Like I said, I don't edit. I raw dog it. That's why you're going to have 2 different Forge 2.0 episodes. One's going to be 5 minutes long with me starting to talk, and I don't know, maybe Jayna was dancing. She was showing us a dance or something. She was dancing. I was like, yes, I get to talk to her. You're part of the episode, and we get a dance. And me talking, and my camera started going, wobbling back and forth. Oh, where did Jayna go? She's gone. And then FaceTime or Facebook, whatever, FaceTime, just deciding to go, you know what? We're just going to shut off right now on you. There you go. Yes. At least there was no white noise. So
the beauty in doing it this way, though, and not having any editing, is that the authentic and true you gets to come out. And when you're the other person on the other side, like, I find my audience loves me when I go live, because you can't fake the funk. If someone asks you a question, you have to answer based on the knowledge you have right now. There's no Googling and finding the statistic, and and there are no notes on any extra screens. There's just you and I here connecting. And so I feel that the authenticity and the realness is what people are looking for these days, with how many filters and how many different, different tricks of the trade people can do when you throw it in an editor. So I think there is a lot of value to content like this.
I agree. And one of my things was, per your story that you sent, your other one about, I'm not ignoring you. It's just, I'm doing a lot of other things, but I will get to you. Awesome. And that's one of the pushers for me to go live, because I kept trying to play catch up with people writing when they did write the messages. Okay. Or if they sent them over in this one. Yeah. Okay. This way, I'm alive. You're allowed to, I can engage with the audience.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, I've seen the lives before, and I see some people, though, they have so many, and they're just sitting there staring and go, oh, yeah. It's a little rough. I'm like, wow, how can you, I just see their face doing this. They're talking. Well, the ones that are doing something, yeah. Wow, you're great. But I want to engage, and I figure live is the best way, so I'm not playing catch up, and the day after, 2 days later, all throughout the week where I'm playing catch up, I can do it live. And there you go. It works. Boom. All right, they say something, I can respond, and then they feel cool. Oh, they said my name out on their live, yay, cool. And I've done that in a few of my lives in the morning, when people say hello or they say something, thank you, so-and-so. That's awesome. I'm glad you're listening. I was telling them, like, I still get a kick out that people listen to me over in Kenya or in Nigeria or in India. I'm like, wow, that's huge. Huge. Okay, so that being said, we're going to dive right into what our little 7 ways onto taking back your power. Okay, so the first one is stop saying no. Hold on. See, look at that. My writing is terrible. I tell you, we stopped writing. It's atrocious. There you go. Saying no when no is needed. It's unhealthy to try to please everyone around you constantly. You can lose yourself and end up sometimes getting steered into a direction that you didn't want to go. And that has a little bit to do with, I believe, 2 episodes ago, I talked about watching out when people hit you with the negative, and or somebody comes into your circle and they try to steer you away from your path. Well, what about think of this? No. If you are on this path and you do something to add value to it, but you find, you know what, I have a little more love for this than I do doing this. I can do this and this at the same time, but it's you. Make sure it's you. It's not someone else leading you off that path. What do you think?
I agree. As far as the people pleasers aspect, you can't please everybody. And in fact, when people are a people pleaser and they allow people to take them off their path, and they always say yes. And I believe the original point was to not skip on saying no when no is necessary. And that comes back to boundaries, is those with firm boundaries and the ability to say, no, that does not fit my priorities. No, that's not going to work for me. Those who always say yes end up being less valued by the people around them. But then those people who insert no and actually have a plan for themselves, usually they're the ones that have that attracting energy. People are like, oh, you got some stuff going on, versus the people pleaser who it's like, oh yeah, they'll be here, trust me. Oh yeah, oh they'll it's okay, I'll just call so and so because they always show up. When you become that person, people now don't value you as much. So I find that it is very important to learn when to flex your no muscle, and especially when we're talking about anything intimate, but we're not going that route just yet.
No, that's a little more important than this. That no route, that's real. Let's
get good at that no muscle.
Yeah. Don't please everybody. Listen, no, you better listen to that. Okay. Number 2. Yeah. Stop playing the I'll save you game. Now this one I had to read, and I had to even write some things down because I looked at that. At first I thought, well, what the hell does that mean? So what I got is, no one saves us but ourselves. No one can and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path. That is a little quote from Buddha. I read it and I was like, oh, so this is like, I can show you the path. This is my journey. You can come with me, but you can't take my journey for me. You can't walk my path for me. I have to do it. So that being said, everyone must find or discover their own path and why they're here on this planet. That went a little step than what I was, as far as taking your power back. When I read that, I go, oh, well, okay, but I guess it does in fact tie in, why you're here on this planet. It's little, maybe I would say, instead of a broader scope, it narrows down. I would almost say that it narrows down when taking your power back, instead of, okay, I'm me, I'm going to do me. Well, all right, why am I going to do me? What am I doing me for? Yes. What would you say?
Absolutely. Repeat the very first point. I want to hear the words of point number 2. Can you repeat the way that it was worded again for me?
Where everyone must find or discover their own path and why they're here on this planet?
Was it because you said something about not saving everyone?
Oh, yes. Sorry. That was Buddha's quote.
Yeah. Okay. What was that quote again?
Sorry. No one saves us but ourselves.
Correct.
No one can and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path.
Right.
Buddha.
Okay. So this brings me back to the fact of, especially everything that a lot of what I'm going to come from is my experience as a love and intimacy coach, because I deal with a lot of people in relationships where they are the knight in shining armor. They like to swoop in and be like Superman or Batman. They always like to save the day, and
Mm-hmm.
that makes them feel really good. But the problem is when you constantly save the day, the person you keep saving never learns to walk on their own 2 feet. So like you said there, you then continued it on. We're the only ones that can make that change for ourselves. We're the only
Mm-hmm.
ones that can save ourselves. So when we're swooping in and saving the day, whether it's in a relationship intimately or if it's just in any relationship, family, friends, etc., we're not allowing that person to learn and grow so that next time they face that same issue, they then can do it for themselves. They're
Yeah.
always going to be chopped off at the knees and needing to call you or someone else. And so while we think we're saving the day, all we're doing is postponing that pain for the future. So I would 100% agree that the best thing is to just maybe call for some advice, but don't
Okay.
let someone else be that knight in shining armor. Step up and do it for yourself, because we're all going to fumble and have a hard time
Yeah.
the first time doing something. But eventually, once we do it, the next time we're like, oh, last time I did this and that didn't work out. I'm going to try it this way. And then we get
Mm-hmm.
better, and then we know what we're doing. And that's where confidence comes from.
Yeah.
So that's
It,
taking your power back, truly.
yeah. Yeah. It's funny that you said chopped off at the knees.
Hmm.
I heard a joke. Well, it's an old joke where they said, "Why do leprechauns laugh when they run through the grass?" Because it tickles their balls. Well, somebody did it on TikTok, and as he said it, he ran across the screen. But the guy that did it, he had no legs, so he was pulling himself across his living room carpet. I lost it. I started laughing. I go, I'm going, and I told him, I go, buddy, this was hilarious. I'm sorry you went through what you did, but I'm going straight to hell because I laughed the whole time when I just saw you drag your body across. It was like, that is terrible. That was funny, but that is terrible. And I was talking about that today. That's awesome. Okay. Okay, number 3. Okay. Distancing yourself from toxic people. You know, by entertaining people who literally take the life out of your life will leave you feeling powerless, confused, and depleted of vital energy. I thought this one was quite well, it's powerful in its own unique way, but I had to sit and I think about it and I go, dealing with certain people, day in and day out, and you realize, when I talk to that person or when just being around that person, I feel drained. Like one of those, what would they call them? The sanguine vampires, where they suck the energy out of you. Not the
Yeah.
blood. You still got your blood. You're just like, oh my God, I don't want to do anything. You
Yes.
know, you know. How would you feel? I mean, would you agree with that part or?
100%. So we, again, going a little scientific on you, we
Mhm.
are just atoms bouncing around and
Yeah.
bouncing together and that creates our matter. There's more empty space than actual matter in each of us and even the objects around us, which is really cool. So we
Mhm.
all vibrate at a frequency. And so those at a lower frequency tend to want to bring people down to meet their frequency. And those at a higher frequency tend to be the stronger heartbeat and bring people up to their energy. What that's doing, those frequencies, there are different levels of energy happening there. So when
Mhm.
we're low, we tend to be more in the depressed or sad. We don't have a lot of energy, we're drained. And when we're there and we bring someone else down, we're doing just that. We're sucking the energy out of them. And yeah, like literally sucking it out. And then when we're on the flip side, when you meet someone like yourself or I who has a high energy,
Mhm.
people come around us and they're like, oh my gosh, I leave feeling great. That's because we're energizing them. We're like little batteries running around, and we're either going to take the energy from other people around us or we're going to give energy to those
Mhm.
around us. So it's always one of those give or take. So I totally agree with this statement of
Mhm.
the way you take your power back is by recognize who around you feel good or bad around. Like
Yeah.
maybe take a little journal or notebook, and every person you see in that day, write down and it's like, how did you feel after that? I mean, I'm scientist in that sense, that where I
No,
like to
no,
have
go ahead. Yeah.
statistics. And so I'll
Yeah.
be like, after a certain number of times hanging out with somebody, if they're always draining me, then I need to be careful when I put that interaction in my day. It might not always mean that I don't ever interact with them. I just need to know that I need to go into that interaction already on a high level. Because if I'm at a low level and you meet someone who's an energy sucker, you're just going to end up down a really bad spiral.
You're done. Yeah, I came to this realization a couple years ago that I was like that, because whenever I would look, let's say you're shopping, okay? So I'm over here shopping. Then I'm feeling there's nobody over there for 15, 20 minutes across the back wall. The minute I went back there, not even a minute, all of a sudden everybody and the mama wants to shop at the chicken. It's like, are you kidding me? 20 minutes, nothing. I walk over here, boom, 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 boom. It's like, look, I might be, what is it? Have that magnetic personality, or I got lots of energy. I understand that. You stay over there. You know, there is a pandemic going on. You didn't even say, excuse me. You just flew over here. You know, it's like, okay. But, you know, my mother's still alive, so I have to be pleasant. You know, we don't want to bring shame to her. You know, people think I joke when I say that. I hope I'm not a different person when mom decides to go on the permanent vacation. You know, I don't think I will. I might be a little more closer to bite people's heads off, and the filter might go away a little bit. I hope not, you know, but
no, she'll be with you at every walking step at that point.
Don't say that.
Depending on your belief system.
Oh no, she'll be there with hers. Yeah, she'll be there. She's still the practicing Catholic. I talk to the deities and the powers that be in my own time. Like when I'm driving somewhere, we talk. I don't go. I got tired of challenging the fathers and the other priests, and just too much with certain things. And it wasn't like I was demeaning or being derogatory about, you know, God or all of them, but I would answer them questions, and my only answer I got back, they would laugh and, you're a funny kid. Yeah, but you didn't answer my question. I know. Tell me something I don't know, like what I asked you.
That's called a lateral chunk. It means they're changing the conversation to something else, and it's very indicative of the fact that you hit them in a pain point. You triggered them.
Yeah. I've been doing that for a long time.
You're a walking trigger. Is that what you are?
Exactly. I trigger almost everyone.
It's all good. We all trigger everyone in some way, shape, or form.
We do. Well, I put it out a few episodes ago. We were talking about, you know, energy and all that, or whatever I was talking about. And I said, listen, I can understand this because my own mother can only handle me for 2 hours at a time. And then she's telling me, you got to go. We got to go to sleep. We got to do something. That's how much. I said, that's one of the reasons I got off keto, because my energy is normally here. With keto, mingia. It's like I could have been Genghis Khan and taken over the whole planet just with my energy. You know,
if only you could bottle it and sell it. I'm sure people would buy that.
Oh, did I tell you? Did I tell you about the other manifestation coach that I did an interview with? She was in the season 2. She does that.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Well, that's what got me thinking. I started talking. Well, how do you? Because she has a. You know, I don't want to give 2 seconds. This is why I won't give. Well, I should have just said a coach. Anyways. People pay for just to be around her for her energy because she's, you know, high spirited and she knows what she's talking about and she's doing great things. But I go, I need to package my energy. Maybe I can make millions. This would be great.
Yeah.
You know, for $50 a week, you get a little bottle of Brandon, you know, and I just or something, you know. All right, yeah, you got me. I don't normally use my real name. I always go by Lucky, but it slipped out. Let's just forget about that. Okay. All right, moving on to number 4. This one I thought was interesting. This one was really new because I haven't really heard about this one. I can understand it, but it's called letting go of blame. Okay. Blame is one of the most poisonous things you can hold on to. And the longer you hold on to it, the weaker you feel. And the harder it will be to get back to being true to yourself. I sat and I thought about this and I go, because I even myself, and I've told this before to the rest of them, a lot of these things I'm working on. What's the one? Procrastination. We're like this. We're best buddies. We're besties. Okay, we are besties. If I can do something today, I will gladly do it next week. But anyway, it's what I don't understand. I do feel better when all right, Lucky, let's do this, and you get it done. But at the same time, when I do it, and maybe I have something else to do, then I feel like, all right, well, what am I going to do now? It's done. Yes, it only took 10 minutes to do, but I feel lonely. I feel like, what's going on? How do you feel about that? About letting go of blame?
So it's a must. You have to let go of blame, because all blame is doing is shifting responsibility off of yourself and onto somebody else. So when we shift the responsibility onto somebody else, we're literally handing them our power. We're saying, here, take it. Because if you think about it like this, you've got the cause side of the equation and then the effect side of the equation. Most people who shift blame on others live in the effect side. The world is happening to me. Oh, poor me. And this and that. That's living an effect. We want to bridge the gap and live on the cause side, because the people who live on the cause side assume responsibility for every single thing that happens to them. They say, I create this world. I accept that even if I am driving to my mother's for lunch and I get into a bumper to bumper car accident on the way there. Nobody died, nothing crazy, but I got into an accident. I'm going to assume responsibility for that. And you might be like, what? How? They didn't use their blinker. They came over here. It was all, you could have watched it from the outside. I assume responsibility because I say, well, I left the house when I chose to leave the house. I didn't leave the house any earlier. I didn't leave it later. I didn't give them more space. I didn't, in some way, shape, or form, I will find a way to assume responsibility for every single thing that happens in my life, because I personally have experienced when I did not have my power, my confidence in who I am today, it's because I would blame everything around me for the life I was living. And it was the moment I started to say, even these cysts that were being created on my body that I technically had no control from many people's perspective on happening, I assumed a responsibility. I said, maybe it's something that I'm eating. Maybe it's something I'm thinking. Maybe it's something I feel or have experienced, some sort of trauma I haven't let go in my body. These are all the things I tell myself, because each of those are something I can control. The moment that you give that control away, that's what you're doing in the form of blame. Blame is simply power. It is control over your own life. And when we shift it to somebody else, we're just giving it away. So I love this point. I love this one. This is something I talk about a lot with my clients, is the moment they start to say, it's my fault. Then I'm like, oh, we're on to something. We're here.
It's, and listening to you say that, I heard, what was it? I watched a clip or whatever they're called on this, whatever they're the reels or whatever it is on, let's say Instagram.
Okay.
It might have been on Facebook, one of the reels, because now Facebook has the reels too.
Yep.
But it was, I forget who, it was Mike Tyson was talking to someone.
Okay.
And the guy said that when somebody does them wrong or, screws them over, he cuts ties. And Tyson was like, no, he's become your master. And the guys were like, wait, what? And Tyson said, yes, because they're forcing you to change. He's in charge of you now. They're stopping you from being you. And I'm listening to him going, now, first of all, I grew up watching Tyson just knock people out in 30 seconds. It was great. And I'm going, Minga, this he's onto something. This is, I can see his point, and it's making me think though, wow, yeah. I mean, I've done that before. Somebody screwed me over, and it's just, all right, I don't want to, that's it. I don't know if not that I can say, I mean, at least from my perspective, I'm not sure that I have changed exactly that. I might have become more guarded in certain aspects of that, but I'm listening to this guy going, wow, yeah, nobody's going to be my master. I got to make sure I'm not changing myself or who I am because somebody else screwed me over.
Yep.
You know, it's just like, wow.
Think from this perspective. So I am a love and intimacy coach. I post things that can be talking about intimate material or things that may be provocative depending on the perspective of the person looking at my content.
Yeah.
So I get a lot of messages that might be considered rude by many people. And I could very well take the stance of screw you, blah, 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 da, 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 blocked.
Yeah.
But what does that do to me? It makes me angry. It makes me deep. It makes me mad, block, fuck you, whatever, you know, that's what it does. And that is what is changing me. Instead, I meet them with love. And I say, I really appreciate you actually respecting my boundaries. And this is a boundary for me. And I explain where the boundary is. I already pre-congratulate them for respecting that boundary. And then say, if you do this again, I will, again, establish the consequence, which is I will block you. And then you will not be able to look at my content anymore. And the reason I don't block them immediately is because if I just block everybody who's rude, they won't get to read or experience my content, which will teach them how not to be rude to others. So I want them to remain able to see it because hopefully they'll eventually read it and learn that you can be a good person. But it doesn't say it always works. I do have to flex my block muscle every now and again, but at least I don't do it from a place of anger or spite or fear, because those things are what shift the person. And that's what Mike Tyson's talking about. In the fact of not just when someone wrongs you, don't just like put that wall up, because that just hurts you. And it's much better to then just meet it with love and say, well, I respect your model of the world. I respect where you come from, but that's not okay with me. Here's my boundary. Here's the consequence. I'm going to enforce this. And you just meet them with stern love, because that then does not change you. It doesn't hurt or harden your heart.
I like it. I like it. Okay, number 5 is pretty, I guess I would say it's pretty simplistic. It's, you can't get any more succinct than this. And number 5 is trust yourself. I mean, this goes back to which one? I believe it's the first one, you know, when knowing when to say no, because if you don't trust yourself, you'll be easily led naive. What is it? Naivety? If I say that wrong, that's a word for me. That naivety. There you go. That's what she said. But that's, I feel, where if you don't trust yourself and trust in what you can do and trust in your own power, you can be steered into this direction or that direction. Right. So I've always, I would say, trusted myself in what I'm capable of doing. My thing was just find it. It took me, you know, 40 some years to find what I wanted to do, you know, hence doing this. And I know we briefly touched on it. I looked around and I found, now I just have to see if it's monetarily where I can be like HBO, where I have to pick. I might do 3. I'm looking more so towards 2 countries, but I'll do like 4 hours of something and they'll broadcast me in those countries. And I pay such and such a year. It's like $100 a year. But everybody who wants to watch me, it's like HBO. They have to pay a premium, you know, and I'm looking at going, that'd be awesome. That's awesome. I'm on that's my TV channel. Woo! Awesome. You know, I said that'll be right up there, and I can throw my OnlyFans on there. My mother will get a trip out of that. It's going to be great. So what do you, I mean, as far as, I know I went off on a tangent right there. I do that sometimes.
It's okay. But bring me back to the point.
Trusting yourself.
Yes. So I think trusting yourself is the only way to go. Now, I know that the intuition, the trusting what you're getting, that gut feeling, it's a little bit hard for people because there's no way to put tangible words on what it feels like to trust yourself.
Yeah.
And so those who aren't familiar with feeling themselves, they aren't connected with their body. A lot of those with trauma tend to
Mm-hmm.
be disconnected from the body because the body has not been a safe place in the past. And so
Okay.
that's one thing to consider, is that some people may struggle trusting themselves because in the past they did, out of the word you brought up earlier, naivete, like they did it out of that and they didn't have the wisdom to make a wise choice. So now when they're older, they're stuck in the younger them who, when they trusted themselves, it didn't lead to a good thing. But I do believe that trusting ourselves is something that we should get really good at. It's another muscle to learn to flex. And a lot of that comes back to, like we spoke earlier about energy. We
Mm-hmm.
touched on that a little bit. So if you go back to that energy, that's what the intuition is. So I get really good vibes from you. That's my
Okay.
language on that. And what it means is I feel really good. My gut is like, this is a good person. This is someone who's honest and shows up and funny. And so these are the things that my intuition is telling me. Now, if I was reading your facial cues and I was reading your body language and I was starting to get negative vibes, if I was starting
Uh-huh.
to get something that's like, oh, something's off here, I don't think he's
Mm-hmm.
being honest, I think he's lying,
Yeah.
that is an intuition. That's trusting ourselves. Sometimes we don't notice those flags because there is an opportunity behind that person, or there's
Mm-hmm.
a potential relationship behind that person, or is
Yeah.
there's a potential promotion or whatever it is. And
Mm-hmm.
so we need to be able to trust ourselves and step back from the outcome that we're looking for and just literally listen to ourselves. When
Mm-hmm.
you get that tug on your heart that says, slow down, think, look around you, pay attention. When you get those little kind of nudges that
Yeah.
um those little doorbells or ringing bells that go off in your mind, like just stop and slow down. You don't, it doesn't necessarily mean yes, no, good, bad. It just means like, hey, the hair on the back of your neck stands up. It's natural response for a
Yeah.
reason. These are just little physical things to look for. When you get goosebumps, full body goosebumps, whatever is happening right then and there could be a very good thing or a very bad thing. So pay
This is
attention to
true.
it. Pay
Oh yeah.
attention to, is there someone looking at me or staring at me? We can feel people's eyeballs on us. That is a
Mm-hmm.
real thing. And that is their energy. They're projecting energy towards you. And you're just feeling those vibrations coming through the space between. And,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of like science I'm trying to make really
No,
simple.
no, no. Go be as detailed or as scientific as you want. In what you're saying, though, I would say, from my personal experience, that I feel as women are more equipped. They are better at getting those feelings a lot better. The women can pick that up a lot easier, a lot faster, because I mean, guys, if we're talking to something, if it's a woman or whatever, side you play, we might be thinking, oh, I'm doing this for that,
Logical.
versus,
Yes.
and it's instead of, well, okay, wait, something's bad. No, no, no. It's
Well,
you know,
you could take it a step further. So you brought that up. Great point. Part of
yeah.
that reason that and you even touched on it a little bit there, is that you tried to generalize men and women, but then took a step back. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason is because it's not men and women, it's the masculine energy and the feminine energy. So the feminine energy that we all
Mm-hmm.
have both. And they kind of, if you think of the yin and yang sign where they kind of
Yes.
mix, we all have both. So the yin energy, the feminine energy, it's very emotional. It's very in touch with our feelings. It's very much in flow. It's very much heightened sense and paying attention to what's around us. Then the masculine energy, that yang energy, that in itself is very strategy. It's very focused. It's very
Mm-hmm.
confident. It's very visual. It's very facts and figures, what's right in front
Mm-hmm.
of me.
Yeah.
So when we are in our masculine energy, which many men lean heavier towards, can also be something that you might have a hard charging businesswoman that is in her
Yeah.
masculine too. She's going to be less likely to feel those intuitive feelings just like a man would if you're in that energy. If you're
Okay.
looking to tap into your intuitive feelings, what you want to do is take everything from here to here. The moment that we stop thinking with our mind and start thinking with our heart, we drop into our feminine energy. Even if it takes hands over your heart and 3 deep breaths, that'll bring you here, and you'll be able to sense things better. And when you want to go back to here, you just go back to
Yeah.
thinking logically. Go back to like, oh, what was I saying? What's the question? Okay. And it's something that as you start to advance in learning these types of different aspects about humans,
Yeah.
you can learn to ebb and flow. You can learn to, in the course of a few minutes, go from your feminine to your masculine and back. Some people, they'll spend a whole day or many hours. Some people just live their whole life in one or the other. But the ideal is to be able to ebb and flow between business partners, ebb and flow between your intimate partner, ebb and flow on a podcast like this, where I let you take the lead, and then I step back and I take that role. And then sometimes I step up and say, I have something to say. And, you know, so it's all about that. That just, I hope, helps just a little bit more.
No. That's good. No, I like it. But it's like I said, it's just when you said that, it was like, oh, okay. But I feel women might have a leg up in that as far as feeling if something's off or something's not right.
Yep.
A lot more than guys are just like, yeah, whatever, I'll blow through it.
It's a dark alley. It'll be fine. And the woman's
right.
like,
No. Come on, there's nothing there. Come on. All right, I'll meet you around. I'm going to go this way. You go all the way around. Okay. Let's see. Number 6.
Yes.
Well, yeah, there's this one. This one I understand. Have the courage to walk alone.
Ooh,
you know, the same. Yeah. And this one, I heard this saying. I've heard it. It's been, I want to say, 3 or 4 times within the last couple of months. It's lonely at the top. That's why Bugatti has 2 seats and a bus has 30. And I remember the first time I heard that, I was like, and I'm sitting here going, it's not deep, but it does make you, you know, it's right up there with somebody asked Lamborghini one time, you know, why don't you have any commercials? To which they responded, because the people that buy our cars aren't sitting on their asses watching TV. They're out making it happen, doing what they got to do to bring that money in so they can sit in that Lamborghini, you know? So how do you feel about having the courage to walk alone? I mean, obviously it is your own path. No one can walk it for you, like Buddha said.
Yes. And this is huge when it comes to taking your power back, which is the whole focus, is you have to, again, number one, you have to know who you, or the quote that you started off with, you have to know who you are. Yeah. And that's part of walking alone. And then again, with intimate relationships, sometimes people fall into those codependency habits. So we have to be equipped enough to be able to walk alone. And it's really powerful when you think about the fact that there are so many people in this world who don't know how to be alone without feeling lonely. They don't have that ability. Because the moment that they're alone, all of their fears, all of these mental spirals start happening and overwhelming them. And then they pick up that phone and they just start scrolling, they start calling, they start, you know, consuming, because then it quiets that loneliness that's there. And all that loneliness is our inability to love ourselves. It just means that there's room for that, because if you truly love yourself and you have accepted every piece of yourself, then you could be stuck in a room with just yourself and nothing and be fine. And like, give me a piece of paper and a pen and stick me in a room for 24 hours and I'll be A-okay. Like, I love myself. I'll write a poem. I'll draw a picture. I'll, you know, whatever. But that comes from years and years of developing that self-love, because I've learned to walk alone. Either it's walking alone in career, which is what you touched on, being, you know, it's a lot less people at the top, and usually they don't have a ton of friends and that kind of a thing, but also walking alone in relationships and being able to just be by yourself for a while and develop those habits and those things, so that when you do meet another person, you're not leaning on them, you're growing with them. And like, you're coming together, you're not, you know.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I can understand it. It's funny, a lot of as far as the relationship aspect, where people are is, all right, how can I just I'll get what you have. It's instead of growing together. So many people have failed to see that, where you don't just get into a relationship to either take from one or take from the other. You're supposed to just get from each other and then grow together. And you want to create, all right, we started here, but now look at us. We're up here. We're doing, great things. We don't have to worry about money. We always have clothes. We've got food. One of my things, along with a pusher for me doing this, was I got tired of watching people run their business into the ground that had small gold mines would irk. I mean, just irk. You just want to grab me. What are you doing? What's wrong? You've got a gold mine here. And this was, some of them were a few years back, but even today, some of these people have gold mines and they just want to run it into the ground, or where I'm helping them with their dream and they're going on vacation 2 or 3 times a year, but yet I'm check to check. And I sat down and it was a rough minute. Let me tell you, what do they say? If your dreams don't scare you, you're not thinking big enough. This scares the shit out of me. I mean, I'm pushing for, like we talked, that I want to get my book published that I wrote. I have merchandise that's in here that I want to put down. I want to talk to people. I want to get some merchandise out there, case in point, I just thought of a shirt that I think would be hilarious, grab your lucky by the balls and make it matter. I think that people that would be what does that mean? Well, and then boom, oh wow, that's great. That's funny as hell. Grab your lucky by the balls. We'll have like lucky across the back of the shoulders and maybe a hand grabbing some balls or something like it. I don't know. It's just something funny to make people think, hey, it's not all work, and repeat. No, you're doing this for a reason. When you choose a career, you choose hopefully something that you have passion in.
Yeah.
Something that, okay, I can make money in, but yet I can be happy, and I'm not just waiting till I'm 65 and then I get to enjoy life. That my parents and I used to argue, just smash heads together over this, because they were raised, you go to school. My stepfather started, when he was 15 working, and he just retired a few years ago. Granted, he still had time because of where he moved, when he started, he was able to move up to a position where he could still afford family time.
Right.
So, but nowadays you need 2, 3 incomes in one household, sometimes a fourth one, just because of the way everything. And it's always like, no, I've got to do this. No, I've got to do this. No, you've got to do something that you find fun in, that you don't look at, oh, I got to go to work today. No, you should. All right, we got to have some fun. I start the day with my lives. All right, I don't care what day it is, unless I have an appointment on that. That's the only reason I know what day it is. If I don't have an appointment, it's just another day full with potential and possibilities. Yes. I'm making new friends. Meeting somebody for that maybe we mesh and we form, hey, let's start. What do you think of this? How about this idea? Let's do this. And there's a business, or you start a venture with somebody. Other than that, I don't care what day it is. I've got no reason to. Yeah. You'd be amazed. Well, I don't know. You may not, because of what you do. How many people don't understand that? And because I got tired of, I'm waiting for the weekend. I'm waiting for the weekend. Mm-hmm. And, I was thinking about, this was probably 3 years ago. I read somewhere, the guy says, I hate the weekend. I can't make any money on the weekend. I want Monday through Friday. And I started thinking about that, going, well, because I'm not a weekend person. I know I got to sleep in at least one of those days before, but because I worked 5 days and I have 2 days off. Yay! But I started thinking, going, no, this is what do I care what day it is?
Right.
Back in before they had time or a day, I kind of remember where, all right, we just woke up, you did what you had to do, you lived, you adventured, you blacksmith, you were in the military, or the nobles did whatever nobles do, and that was it. Unless there was a party and on the summer solstice or when it's hot out, we're having a party. Nobody cared.
Yep.
And things move so, everything was boom, boom. Everything was smooth. Everything went smoothly. And I know I'm kind of going off on walking your path alone, but trying to bring it back is just, yeah, no, I am completely all right, I wake up and what's today? What are the possibilities for today? Where's the potential? What potential? Ooh, I can make a friend. Oh, I can make this amount of money. I can make this person laugh. That's huge. I can make somebody laugh that wasn't laughing before. Awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't like my content. You think, well, this guy's only, he's a seasoned 45, as he says. But has he done? Yes, I've lived. So I want people to at least laugh. If you're afraid of going to that and taking that leap to follow your passion to make money off I tell them, I said, hit me up, hit me with a message. I'll make you laugh. Well, what do you think about this? Well, what do you think about this? How about that? I don't know. I don't like that, but that's just me. I would do it like this. But I'll make you laugh and I'll make you think. All right. I think that was a pretty good way of bringing us back to the courage to walk alone. That was one hell of a branch that we went on. Okay, number 7.
Number 7.
Yes. Oh, this is pretty. Reclaim your power by doing the things you once loved to do. What do I have there? Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry, there's more. Hold on a sec. This one was a long one. Okay. So we said, reclaim your power by doing the things you once loved to do. Mm-hmm. By saying no when no is needed. You stop thinking yourself small, weak, powerless. Mm-hmm. You reclaim your power by starting to see yourself again as the beautiful, strong, bold, and courageous being you were created to be. Remember, your life is yours.
Yes.
Wow. That's a mouthful right there.
I love it, though.
Yes. When I sat and I was reading it, I go, yeah, my writing is terrible, but, it resonates in certain, and you think about it, you're like, wow, there's a lot of truth there.
Yep.
And it's funny because some people that watch, I might get a comment before, oh, so you're showing a little bit of your feminine there. I go, look, I'm an alpha. I have no qualms about talking about stuff like this because I don't care what anybody else has to say about me. I don't. I haven't since I was 7. I learned at an early age, and this, like I said, stop thinking of yourself as, well, like I said, small, weak, and powerless, beautiful, strong, bold, and courageous. This is where I've always lived. So sometimes I am told that people don't always look at things the way I do. Mm-hmm. One case in point, someone I used to work with at one of the gift shops in Rochester, she was getting a raise. I believe he was her husband. I'm about 97% sure he was getting a raise. They had just found a new house to rent. They didn't want to buy. They just wanted to rent. It was bigger. Everyone was able to have another room. And on top of that, they were getting a new vehicle. And it was only, to me, everything was just boom. Everything they had worked for, boom, boom. Everything was starting to fall into place. Boom, boom. And yet, I worked with the woman of their relationship. I met the husband a few times. Great guy from my interactions with him. But she was so stressful when she got into this point. And I couldn't wonder. I was talking to another friend of mine, and they're like, dude, people don't look at things the way that you do. You can't. It's like, but this is better. They've got a new car. They don't have to worry about it breaking down. They got a bigger house. Everybody's got their own. They have more space. Mm-hmm. They both just got promoted. That's more money. I don't see any kind of added stress to their lives in all this. And to this day, I still can't, even when I think about it, everything she worked for, that he worked for, I knew her, I worked with her, I don't really know much, but everything fell into place. They were there. It was just up and up for them. So I couldn't understand where she was coming up with all this stress. And even though we talked,
Right.
I couldn't wrap my head around, yeah, but you got a promotion, you're making more money. You got a new car, you got a bigger house. Why are you stressed?
You remember that cause and effect thing we talked about?
Yeah.
What side do you think she's living on? Is she at cause or at effect? Everything's going great in her life, yet she has things to complain about. You think she's more causing her reality, or she's more, it's happening to me?
Oh, I would say she's causing it. I would say she was causing a stress. No.
I would believe in this case, because cause is a good thing, effect would be the bad. I think she's living in effect because even though things are going really well for her, she is finding all the negatives. She's like, oh, that's great, but this happened. Oh, but that. Oh, but this. And it's all happening to her, which is why she's not able to be happy for it. If she was at cause, she'd be like, oh, look, new house, new car, we're doing great. Awesome things. So it really does come down to like, how do we see the world around us? Just like you're saying, from your perspective, I can't see what's wrong. Maybe she's like, oh, bigger house. Now there's 2 AC units, an AC unit goes out, and maybe there's a bigger electric bill that they didn't plan for. Maybe they didn't pay off the house. Maybe it's a mortgage. Maybe it's a bigger mortgage than they expected. Who knows? The perspective from the outside, we're never going to be able to understand from that person's perspective. But at the same time, she chooses her reality.
I definitely agree with that. It's just, and this is, like I said, another reason why I'm doing this, because obviously because my energy. I love talking to people, and I get a kick or a rush when, if I can meet somebody. Case in point, there's somebody on here. I'm not going to try to say his last name. I'm friends with him. He started out, Nicholas. He he's an actor in LA. I believe he moved back down to Florida for a spell just to do for a part that he got in a movie. And then it was his first part in a movie he starred in, and I was awesome, dude. And so far, I've been following him, and he's gotten a few other roles and things. I was like, I get a kick out of that. You know, he's put the time in, he's put the money in. I don't like to use the word grind, because by definition, it means to whittle down till there's nothing. And I hear this everywhere. I'm grinding. I'm on the grind. I'm like, let's pick a different word. How about you put the time in? You put the time in. You know, not, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
But I get a kick out of seeing people succeed. I love it. You know, it's like a drug, you know, if you will. Just like the other day, someone was talking about, do you find stress in this and this? And I said, well, Kung Fu is my alcohol. And they were like, what? I go, you drink when you get upset or frustrated or mad at something so you can forget, even though the next day it's all going to come crashing back on you. I said, I watch Kung Fu flicks, and in about 15 minutes, whatever I was frustrated about doesn't exist anymore. Even if it's still there, I don't care. I'm looking at it from a different perspective. I'm in a different zone.
Yep.
And they go, you get all that from watching 15 minutes of a Hi-Ya or Kung Fu flick. I go, yeah. Have you ever watched one? They're hilarious. It's action. It doesn't have to have a meaning because it's an action flick. It's not going to ruin any awards. It's two people just talk. You know, it's awesome. Okay. I go, listen, until you do it, I don't want to hear any negativity. It's a whole hell of a lot less expensive than those 9 bottles of vodka you drank this week.
Yep.
You know?
And it comes back to the point number 7 that you were making in the first place. Part of that said something about going back to what we used to do.
Yes.
And so a lot of what I like to talk to people about is like, as we're children, we take on what society and the adults around us want us to take on. They, they project onto us, and that's what we learn. So we basically unbecome ourselves as we grow up. We have a natural instinct to, like, for example, I like to dance, and I've been dancing since I was a kid, but had a lot of adults tell me, oh no, you can't dance like that. Don't dance like that. Don't do. And so I unbecame myself. And as I started to grow back into myself now in my adulthood, I dance a lot more now, because screw them and society and what it tells me I can and can't do. I am unlearning what society has taught me now and going back to the things I used to do. And in that, I'm finding my power. And in that, I'm like, oh, this is who I am. And it's really, really important to be able to do those things. A lot of people, like when they were kids, they used to draw. And then they have that one person or a handful of people that were like, you're terrible at this. You should give up. Or those bullies that incessantly nag you, and you stop doing it. And then you are miserable as an adult. And it's like, when you come back to those things that were at the core of what you believe and who you are, that's when we really have power, because it goes along with walking alone. And number 6, and learning to walk that path of being unique, being uniquely you. If you're like every other person, you're just a copy, and we don't want to be that. We want to be our unique selves. So come back to who you are, walk that path of yourself, become who you are, and that's how you get more people who come on board and like what you're about. Because it's not like, oh, I like this, following this guy or this chick because they're just like all these 10 other people. No, it's because you come here and we get Brandon, we get Lucky, we get this persona of this person who's got all this energy to give. Where else can you go for that? Like, there's nobody else on this planet who's going to be able to give the energy and be you. So you've got to be able to walk that path and be that lone wolf for a while, because that is how you create who you are. And that's how you paint the picture. And going back to the very first quote, that's how you paint your masterpiece, is by really, really, truly learning to be yourself and go back to those things you used to do. Because sometimes we stop doing it for somebody else, to appease a parent or a partner or a child or whatever, a teacher. And
it's not good.
No.
And it's funny how it always takes us. It's not until we get older, really, where we finally, something inside clicks and you're like, well, when in the hell did that happen?
It's just gone. And then we're miserable and we don't know why. And then that's that self-care, that really checking in, like, what do I need? Is it a walk in the park? Is it a bubble bath? Is it, to talk to a good friend? Do I need to write a book? Do I need to get my pain out on paper? What is it for me? Maybe video gaming and just losing yourself in that is what you need at the time. But just checking in and giving that thing to yourself, that's how we find happiness.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'll throw some video games in there. It's always good to sit there with the Street Fighter and just be like, oh yeah, come on, Bison, let's go. Those are, and I don't understand though, what people get. Okay, how do I want to say this? Because this goes back to right what I said. I know people don't look at things the way I do, but to let people, I think we said this as to what Tyson said, when you change how you are because of a reaction you got from somebody else. I don't understand. So many people let outside influences dictate how they act. And I said something like this a few episodes before, where I have learned to, on the outside, you won't know how I'm feeling. Yet on the inside, there's just a rage typhoon. There's 4 Krakens in there, and it's just crazy. And I'm just, some people have said, oh, you got something brewing in on there. Your eyes are dark.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no, I'm great. I'm feeling great. Never been better. To tell my mom, so mom would ask me many years ago, what's wrong with your eyes? Nothing's wrong, Mom. I'm fine. Are you sure? Because they're looking a little black. Whoa! But No, I don't. It blows my mind that we let other people get a reaction out of us that completely throws us off how our day is.
Yep.
And that part where I was able to finally, I know, like I said, at 7, I stopped caring what anybody else ever thought about me. And I was going to do me, always do me. As long as I wasn't hurting anybody else physically, we're good. But I want to say maybe late 20s, early 30s, where it's like, why would I let someone else dictate how my day is going to be? They're not paying my bills. They're not my support. They're not my anchor. I can't go to them. And if I were to go to them, they would just use whatever I tell them against me and try to cut me down and belittle me even more. So why would I let anyone get inside there? So once I changed that to whereas, all right, who cares? I've already had it here. I don't care what you say about me. Well, can I see if I can adopt that mentality up here? Or, okay, you're not going to get a reaction out of me. I might be thinking, my mind might be other ways, places here, but that's it. And people used to ask, I worked at this one place and it was a restaurant, and they would try just to chop because they hated their life, just to try to chop. So they would, my girlfriend would come in every now and then for a bite to eat, and I'd ask them, do you give him drugs in the morning before he gets here? Literally, do you give him drugs? What do you mean? Well, we tried to this, and she would say, oh, no, that's just how he is all the time. You can say whatever you want, and nothing. You won't get a rise out of him. Versus now, there are, you put your hands on my family, and that's a whole nother, But other than that, I grew up at a time with your mama jokes. Everyone wanted to get with my mom in school. Oh, your mom is fine. Oh, dude, I don't want to hear that. I don't want that image in my head. Come on, don't you want me to be your stepdaddy? Get the hell out of here. Stop, dude. And that was one of my things. As long as I could laugh when I was growing up, it was okay that you said it. I never said anything as long as I could laugh.
Yeah.
Like there was for instance, I had somebody ask me in the early 90s, dude, do you want a brother? Does your mom want to adopt a son? What? Because we had she just bought a, what was it? A Maxima? A Nissan Maxima. Apparently back then that was like a hoity-toity car.
Okay.
And like, your mom's got the new Maxima? Yeah, she was bored. She wanted something new. You want a brother? What? You want to adopt me? Dude, you got issues, man. So, but that's the talk. All right, so let's bring this back. For my listeners, thank you for bearing with us in this episode of Forge 2.0, because let me tell you, Facebook did a number on this, and I don't know. I might have to start doing my lives somewhere else and then just sending them over here, because we've been talking, and every time I'm not talking and Jayna's talking, I'm looking at this screen that says Messenger Room Personal, which makes me think that even though I'm live in the Messenger, not in Facebook in itself. I'm getting a little leery about that, but it's all right. I should be able to send it all over the place. If not, Facebook and I are going to have a talk because then I'm going to have to see what Jayna's schedule looks like, and we might have to do another one because I see another go live over here where I know that part is in Facebook, in the group podcast. I really think I've done this whole live in my Messenger. That's joyous. I love it.
Every day we get a new opportunity to learn and grow and get better.
Yeah. Every Wednesday. Every Wednesday I learn something new. Facebook. Right there, Facebook. But no, we're bringing this back. All right, it's taking back your power. Okay, you've heard the 7 different ways. This was only through one one link that I found, I pulled up earlier, and obviously there's hundreds. As you all know, the internet is full of stuff, full of things, and it allows us.
Yes, stuff and things.
It's full of stuffs. There's lots of stuffs on the internet, you know. But it allows us to reach out, and we can find, you know, certain people that, you know, oh man, this woman's got some energy. Let's get around there. Like I said, that's why I didn't want to interview her. I wanted her to be part of the episode. It was awesome. You know, different perspective. Obviously, I can't give a female perspective to anything at all. I wouldn't even try. Not at all. There's no way. That whole yin and yang, and mostly I'm all yang. The only yin is when I'm nice to the kids. Other than that, that's it. There's no yin. It's all yang. This great. I'm gonna have to use that in my lives. Yes. So coming to you from the way of the yang. The way of the yang. There's no yin over here. Maybe just a little beep, just a little dot beep. That's it. The rest is yang. Okay? That's awesome. But taking your power back, ultimately you're choosing to live you're choosing your destiny, not somebody else. It goes right in that part when I talk to some people that live locally, and I go, how you doing? And they go, I'm living a dream. And I go, but is it your dream? And I get that whole deer in the headlight, I just saw Bigfoot in the woods look.
Yes.
And I don't attack them. I go, you might want to think about that if you can't even answer me after you just,
yes,
you know, that's bad. You know, if I say it's your, I ask, is it your dream? And you,
yeah,
you know, you've got to take your power back. Okay. You always have a choice. No matter what you're doing, where you are. Some people say, oh, no, I don't. Yes, you do. I work with several of them on a daily basis. You always have a choice. And if somebody says you don't, they're lying to you. They're wrong, okay? That's not opinion. You always have a choice. If you're afraid, take that leap. If you need a stranger, like I said, it's easier sometimes to talk to a stranger. You know, than it is to talk to family. Most of the time, it's easier to talk to a stranger than it is to family, because family usually tries to make you go, well, this would be a good look for the family. Yeah, but it's not a good look for me. You know? I mean, see, I feel like I should have got my Johnny Walker out. I see you drinking that water.
This is water. This is water. In a wine bottle. Hey, it's nice. On brand. Come on.
It's a who?
It's on brand.
What does that mean?
My personal brand is a little bit more classy than me picking up a big old container of water or just a water bottle. So I put my water in a wine glass to ensure that I bring the class all the way around.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I might have to do this. I'd probably still throw vodka in there.
It's okay. The water bottle is totally on brand.
Some people have actually said that. Okay. Taking back your power. All right. It's powerful. I will probably end up ending this and then just talking with Jayna after just a little bit, if she has a few minutes just to talk, because I think it went so well. I feel that she threw her experience and what she does in all of her answers, which was great. She didn't just say, well, okay, here's this. I feel she drew and answered from her experience in this. I'm talking to you out there. Once I post this and it goes live on the podcast group page, your Facebook is upsetting me. Well, I keep staring at Jayna. It says messenger room, and I'm looking at it going, you're staring at me right in the face.
So
and I'm
you
looking.
Don't let other people affect you and trigger you, but you'll yet let the Facebook AI do that?
Yeah, machines. I can't defeat them. It's like sharks and gators. No matter how much strength I have, I
I
would
believe
rather
in
fight.
you.
I would fight a bear and a wolf over Jaws. Okay.
I believe in you. You can conquer this technology.
Oh yeah, yeah. Once I become part of it, we're all like, what are the Borgs from Star Trek? We're all. Anyways, no. I want to thank Jayna for staying with us on this crazy off-road journey tonight. This was awesome. It was awesome. We had a couple of technical difficulties. It was all right. We broke through. We got some good laughs. Definitely got some good laughs. We touched on a subject that I feel people are honestly afraid of.
Yeah.
I can't do this because I have to work. I have to pay bills. I have to make sure my kid is this. Yes, but at the same time, no, you can do what you're doing and slowly work on something. Okay, slowly build this up. Slowly, thanks to COVID, it opened up all this online stuff, all this entrepreneurial, the podcasting, doing whatever you honestly want. There's some weird stuff. You can take pictures of your woman's feet. If she's got pretty feet, do a video of her putting on some thigh highs and then a shoe. That's a 7-minute video. People will give you like $100, $150 per watch.
Yeah, and she doesn't even have to have pretty feet. They just have to be feet.
Oh, wow. Really? It's like that? Oh. Tonight is Frodo Baggins.
Hobbit feet are the best.
Frodo will be getting a pedicure. Yeah, and then putting on his stylish sandals or something. That's rough. That's not cool. But hey, whatever floats your boat. There's weird things all over the place. They're awesome and you can make money doing. Okay, so can always say, yes, I'm still here for my family. The kids are taken care of. I'm still doing this. There is enough time in the day. Contrary to what most of us think, you have plenty of time. Okay, so that being said, Jayna, thank you for coming. Thank you for being a guest on Forge 2.0, Season 3, Episode 9. Tonight, because it was so full and we did have technical difficulties, I am not able to pull up the channel that had my quote on it because I don't know what happened with my laptop. But perhaps later tonight or tomorrow morning, I will hit you with a quote for next week's. All right, that being said, thank you, everybody. Jayna, I'm probably going to call you right back because I don't even know if this is going to hang up on you when I press the button. But thank you again. You have a good night. Thanks, everybody, for coming by. Have a good one.